to all the dispossessed youth of Africa, for perpetuation of communion with ancestral spirits through the fight for African freedom, and in the firm faith that the dead, the living, and the unborn will unite to build the destroyed shrines. Selah. Hello and welcome, beloveds, to another episode of Wake Up Africa. My name is Dr. Mumbi Saraki. How you doing? How's everything going? Thanks for joining us on this platform, the Dr. Mumbi Spiritual Show. We absolutely appreciate love each and every one of you. Go ahead, beloveds, and subscribe to the channel. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that notification button and make sure you like the videos, beloveds, and share as much as possible where you feel comfortable so that we can beat those algorithms. I know a lot of people have been reaching out saying they'll like and the thing will jam or they'll try and share, because we're sharing some nuggets that our people need to hear at this time. And we really believe, like every messenger should believe right now, that your message, will get to those that need to hear it the most, and will get to the people. Every one of us is here on assignment. We have contracts with different souls here, where we are supposed to help each other, in the awakening process. And they always say the teacher always remains a student as well. The teacher is a student, and the teacher learns from the students. And every time you stepped up to your destiny and you step up to the assistance that you're supposed to be giving to others, it opens up your own pathway. It's amazing how that works, beloveds. It opens up your own possibilities, and the more you give, the more you get. It really does. That tithing thing, they were onto something there. So really get into your destiny, beloveds. Whether it's paying you or not, start to do what you came here to do, and that will be what gives you the greatest breakthrough ever. Hey, breakthrough! Shout out to everyone that supports this channel, beloveds, and everyone that emails us. It's so exciting to see so many of our African sisters and brothers awakening and, being on the same page, and especially in Kenya. Shout out to all my Kenyan sisters, mainly sisters and brothers as well, but mainly sisters who have reached out to me, who support me on Patreon, who are really behind me on this journey, who came with me from my religious psychosis to where I am right now. And just knowing that, I'm not the only Kenyan, because sometimes you can feel like you're the only one who's thinking in a certain way. Just to know that there's even a sister who reached out to me, who said she has a farm near where I am. I'm like, what? So it's just so amazing. The awakening is happening in earnest, beloveds. Our African-American brothers and sisters were ahead of us just because they had to be in terms of the circumstances they faced. But the awakening is happening in earnest in Africa. So many of our brothers and sisters are waking up. So just continue to do you, because we are affecting the collective in a massively positive way that we could never, ever imagine. Today, I wanted to talk about something that I really didn't think I'd be talking about as soon as this. It will probably appear on our Patreon channel way before it appears on the public channel. But beloveds, they lied. Everything is upside down and back to front. They lied about everything. They lied about the big things because, one of their prophets, Hitler, actually believed in the great lie, and his Mein Kampf, which is like his testimony, he actually talked about how just manipulating the minds of the people, and how if you told a big enough lie, the people would believe it, because in their conscience they could never believe telling such big lies. Although now most people had been cultured to tell small lies about their lives, oh, I'm here, when you're actually there. It's small things that you would lie about, but they could never fathom that anyone would lie to them at such an extent, to such a great level. So you could always create a big lie and then repeat that lie over and over and over again. And the majority of people would take it as the truth. And one of the biggest lies we've been told is that there's only 7 continents and we're all alone. That's a big lie, beloveds. That's a really big lie. And if you look at what the ancients believed, the ancients actually believed that, we were a dome. And I'm not here to promote the flat earth theory, although you should definitely hear those arguments. It will definitely open up your mind. But the ancient ones, they They had access to the other worlds. Can I say that? You see, it's like something happened. This masculine virus that came in and tried to conquer this world. It came and it tried to, it came and tried to hit like a lightning bolt, the center of the world, and it spread. And so we were placed in quarantine, beloveds. And when we were placed in quarantine, they literally put the Antarctica, which is a big freaking iron, big ice wall around us to kind of contain, to contain the virus. Now, are we the only ones in the dome? Is the dome part of, the quarantine area, or is the whole Mama Earth part of the quarantine area? They hide the truth in plain sight, beloveds. And if you want to know what the world really looks like, go ahead and look at the symbolism of the United Nations and how it has that, or even the thing which they do, like, is it with the airplanes or something, where they'll have the radar going round and round and you'll see kind of like the flat earth? Because we're a dome, beloveds. Now, were we put in this dome to prevent us from infecting the whole, as the whole tried to figure out, are we part of some experiment? Did we choose to be part of the experiment? And so we chose to be quarantined. We were locked in, beloveds. We were locked in and locked down. We've been locked in, locked up, locked down, locked sideways. And, only the highest level politicians and members of these secret societies have access to or have tried to penetrate those other worlds. And there are videos that have been done. There's some pilot in the 1970s who kind of flew past the Antarctica, and he got as far as to see worlds, like continents that were bigger than what we see. The lie is so deep, beloveds, that you have to start seeking the truth at some point. And if you really try and overstand everything, you see, if there's 33 continents, then what does it matter about Jesus and the Savior and all these things? There's entire nations and worlds that we don't even know about, but they know about us. And so you really have to start looking critically at every information we've been given through their movies, through the sci-fi, all the hidden knowledge that they try and, you see, because in constantly spreading truth, they somehow maintain control of this reality. But they found a way to give us the truth without even us knowing, where enough of the collective will watch their movies, watch their TV shows. And so you'll believe their version of the truth without even knowing that there's a version, that there's a bigger truth out there. And they have to constantly feed our consciousness with rubbish. Beloveds, we've been in quarantine for thousands of years. It's not just 7 continents, but 7 continents are the ones that somehow got infected. And somehow the center of the world is in these 7 continents, right here in Eden, beloveds. The truth is so much deeper than you think. So really, you need to get out of the pettiness that they've made life. Let's take a short break. We'll be right back.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, Africa.
Welcome back, beloveds, to Wake Up Africa. I'm reporting live and direct from the foothills of Mount Zion, beloveds, the center of the world, definitely just sending you all the power, all the love, all the upliftment, all the courage to do what you need to do, because you can't even believe. And that's why some of you are in your crazy situations right now. You wouldn't even be able to imagine the level of spiritual support, the people that are backing you up, both physically and spiritually, at such a time as this. We have started a relocation community on Patreon called Karibu Nyumbani. Karibu Nyumbani basically means welcome home in Kiswahili. So go ahead and consider, especially if you're seriously considering moving back, where we will be providing, an African perspective, and where we can, different, tips, etc. Go ahead and check out the tiers and what we're offering there. But, because I've gotten so many emails from people who are starting their relocation journey and have no idea, where to start or where to go. Definitely stories for other days. So, yeah, beloveds, there's about 33 continents, allegedly. Let me just put that out. Let me put that allegedly out there. But the lie is so deep. The lie is so deep, beloveds, that you can't hold on to any narrative that the enemy of your soul has told you. Any. You have to critically think through every and any and all stories that they have ever told you, beloveds. Because if we are not alone, and there's going to be a lot of like fake disclosures and UFO landings, and people have been saying that for years and everyone's waiting. And I always say, you see, what happens is that things don't happen at a certain time like we think they do. They happen at a certain tipping point when enough people have accepted that narrative. That's when we see things moving into motion. So that's why Babylon will continuously push a certain narrative, so that they can continuously keep us accepting that narrative, and in accepting that narrative, we keep creating and perpetuating that narrative. But that doesn't make the narrative correct. In fact, most of the narratives you've heard are incorrect. Everything is a lie, beloveds. What if? What if we're in this quarantine right now? And there's some ancient maps that you've been seeing. And you can see right here. These are the ancient maps from Asia, beloveds. I'm sure there's some from Africa, but all our paperwork is in the vaults of the Vatican. But this is an ancient map from Asia that showed the 33 continents, and it was slowly eased out, and until they created this story of a round world. And they're able to maintain it because, it was funny. I read this article where every year or every so often, every single plane in the world has to calibrate to like the world, whatever airplane system, to the world direction navigation system. So they all have to, calibrate to it every few years, which means they're the ones who are telling you to go. Like I could go from here to Mombasa in 8 hours, but I could be hooked onto the wrong calibration system that gets me going round and round and round instead of going straight. Maybe here, Mombasa is like the coast of Kenya. So maybe from here where I am to, from Mount Zion to the coast of Kenya, it's like a straight, 8-hour trip. But then when I hook onto their global navigation system, even though the road is this way, because I'm on their navigation system, they'll make me go this way and then turn this way and then go up and go down and go back and go front and go round and round and round. And that's why we hear these crazy stories of how, the Caribbean, our ancestors used to take, sail their canoes from the, West Africa to the Caribbean, taking advantage of certain winds, etc., and they'd get there in 3 hours. So, and I share this because now, some people have been reaching out like, are you sure you should be sharing some of this secret knowledge? I mean, come on. It's time. Babylon has fallen. It's only the minds of the people that is keeping it going. And we must share these things. And the reason I even share it at such a time as this, beloveds, is to encourage you to walk away from the lie and to just blow your mind open to how big the lie is. So you should not be consumed. There is no answer out there that will get you to what you where you need to go. You need to just get doing the necessary work to see the truth, because you'll realize all of this is a lie. It really is a matrix. It really is a dream, beloveds, and it's time to wake up from the dream. Because we're sleepwalking in the dream and we think it's reality. We think it's real. When the spiritual world is so much real, so much more real. And what this should do is it should blow your mind to the possibilities. Break every chain of limitation of your imagination, beloveds. Break that religious psychosis that makes you think if you question anything, you'll burn in the pit of hell. Many of you are burning in the mental pit of hell right now. The lies are so many, beloveds, and the truths are so straightforward. They're hidden in plain sight. Break out of the dream, beloveds. It's more like a nightmare for many. And just realize like there's so much more. That's the only reason I'm sharing this. Because many people, these are the secret knowledge that some people hold that have kept us in this. But these are the basics, beloveds, that many people don't even have. These are the basics. So when they say your family on the other side, your family from the other side, what do you think they really mean? You think they mean some spirit that's dead out there? Or do they mean your very real family from the very real other side? Tuko pamoja.